One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot to discuss this morning and a lot to get through. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Let's get it. Shout out to all you legends, man. We've got a lot to discuss, as you guys can see here. Trump's address to the nation. Breakdown we're going to be discussing a little bit today, as well as DHS funding battle, which is ongoing, and we're really not going to get too much into that. I'll tell you why here in a minute. And Iran war escalation and more, of course. So what we're actually going to show off is, remember yesterday the Artemis II from NASA launched, and we have that video footage of just the launch. We're not going to play the whole, lead up and all of that stuff. We'll just show the launch. Excuse me. And then we're going to be discussing Trump and the address that he made to the nation last night. And it says Iran war objectives, quote, nearing completion. That's what Trump said, one of his quotes. And then Trump takes on, quote, wickedness of Iranian aggression, end quote, during primetime address. Interesting. We've got U.S. lifts sanctions on Venezuela's Delcy Rodriguez. And this is coming out just an hour ago, just so you guys know. A lot of shit that's going down. Says the U.S. on Wednesday lifted sanctions on Venezuela's acting President Delcy Rodriguez, according to the Office of Foreign Assets Control entry on the Treasury Department website. The newly announced sanctions relief is the latest U.S. recognition of Rodriguez as a legitimate authority in Venezuela ever since the U.S. military captured her predecessor, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife on January 3rd in Venezuela's capital. All right, so, and then we have key takeaways from Trump's address on Iran last night, as well as, that just came out this morning, just a few minutes ago, but we're going to play it. And then an hour ago as well, Iran launches strike at Israel and Gulf Arab nations. It says Iran fired more missiles at Israel and Gulf Arab states Thursday, which is today, demonstrating Tehran's continued ability to strike its neighbors, even as U.S. President Donald Trump claimed the threat from the country was nearly eliminated. Shit. All right, so that is what we're looking at this morning. It's not a billion different stories that we're going to be discussing this morning. They're just a little bit more lengthier. But this one that we're, when we get into Artemis, that's not going to be long at all. All right, real quick, let's do our call to actions, and then we'll get right into the craziness. Make sure you guys come in and hit that like button, double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side, and listen. Also, hit that subscribe button. That's what we do Monday through Friday, and of course, members only on Saturday morning. We don't discuss any of this shit. We try to have a good time. Now, speaking of members, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. Making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. Make sure you guys follow me over there. And we also have a Discord server where we all continue the conversation after the show, because it's only an hour-long show. We love to still have these conversations after the show. So go into the Discord server. Link is in the video description down below. And make sure you guys get that invite link. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms scrolling around the screen, and anytime you guys can donate to that, and of course, I will read it out loud, just like a super chat, and I get to have 100% of the proceeds. Feels ultra good, man. All right, so guys, let's go ahead and get into the madness. We got a Naomi sending in $5 already, saying like, sub, and donate. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for making it rain in the chat this morning, Naomi. Very much appreciate it. All right, so we got all you legends in here, man. We got Charles Darwin over there from Down Under. Great to see you in the chat. We got Warland as well. We got Jimmy Mack as well as Gary and Extra Surprise. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Great to see you guys in the chat as well. We got Steve Posey. Shout out to my man. And Rabbit of Chaos. Great to see you. Happy Thirsty Thursday to everybody, man. We got Mr. Al Patterson in the building. Shout out to my man as well. And Quick Shoe. Shout out to you. Hopefully you all are enjoying. I definitely know that we are. We got Steve Easy as well as KP. Shout out to my man. It's been a minute. Great to see you, bro. We got Papa Penguin as well. He says driving and listening in. Yes, make sure you just continue focusing on driving then. And listening and hanging out. We got, let's see. We're rolling our way down as fast as possible. We got Two Wheel Jesus in the building as well as Carney Vanguard. Yes, sir. Good morning to you. We got Kerry from Rob's Neighbor. Great to see you in the chat as well. We got Liquored Up with Pancho and Big Dan. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We got Dean Savage over there in Israel. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're also enjoying your afternoon / almost evening or whatever it is over there right now. And Mike, you son of a bitch, you got me with your April Fool's post. Yeah, I got you, homies. Yeah, no, that was all April Fools. You guys know that I love this shit too much to quit this shit. Absolutely. You know, I actually had a few people, not just a few, I actually had multiple handfuls of people actually called me on my phone. They were worried, man. Let's see. We got in the building, we got Fidel as well as Virginia Chaos. And I don't know if you heard me, Virginia Chaos. At the very end of the show, when I was playing the music as I'm ending the show, I saw that you donated $10. And you're like, hey, this is for 2 gallons of gas, man. And I gave you a shout out as I was closing down and like, I don't know if you heard it or not, but I'm going to give you another shout out because I fucked up on that. So thank you for that support, Virginia Chaos. I very much appreciate it. Let's see here. We got Joseph as well over there on the Facebook side of things. Shout out to you as well. And Charlie says, you're a natural. Man, thank you. I very much appreciate that. And Charles says, Mike, fuck you for that. That's I accept that. All right, let's get into the craziness. We got Artemis II to get to. We're just going to show the launch just as they're launching, and then pretty much we'll move on from there.
8, 7, RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
What's up, Justin Prince? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well. Good morning.
Roger, roll pitch.
There she goes.
Houston, now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high. AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate MECO. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance.
Now, people are asking, oh, are they going like actually landing on the moon on this? No, they are going up there, going to circle around, going to go past the moon, do a U-turn, and come back around the moon again, and then they're going to come back home. And so if this whole mission goes completely, successful, then the next mission will be them trying to land on the moon. So that's what this whole Artemis II thing is about, is trying to land on the moon again.
Space Launch System core stage. Integrity.
But they're leading up to
it. In altitude. Traveling more than 12.
And they've got 4 astronauts on this mission right now.
1,200 miles per hour.
What's up, Brez? Good morning. Shout out to you. And offshore, shit.
Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce de Leon.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Have you the same?
Now we're about to get a little space
Communication signal
view
transfer
here in a
confirmed
second.
as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission.
What's up, SST? Good
Integrity
morning.
is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600
That's funny,
miles
Charles.
per hour.
Now we're about to get some like GoPro video here in a minute. A space GoPro that's on the side of the rocket. Yeah, Free Soul's
1 minute, 50
pretty
seconds
interesting
of mission
for sure.
elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation, expected at the 2 minute 9 second mark.
Yep, we're gonna see them split off here in a second.
We see throttle down.
It's splitting right now. Why are you guys showing the people? Go back to the rocket. It's about to
Confirmed
split right now.
separation.
It's separating.
Main engine
See, we didn't even catch it.
Guidance converged.
Now we just see the separating. Yeah, no, that was a April Fool's joke, SST.
Performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Justin Prince, that's right. J.R. Bowling for State Senate, District 4, May 19th. Send a fireman to Montgomery. That's a fact, by the way. Actual factuals. By the way, we've got over 156 people between the two live streams on YouTube. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side and hit that like button if you're on the horizontal. I very much appreciate all of you guys with your laborious work.
Copy all, Stan.
What's up, Chasing Ghost? Morning.
Integrity, SM priming complete.
SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. Thrusters
All
on
right, we're gonna
Integrity
go ahead and skip ahead a
upper
little bit.
stage confirmed.
Let's go ahead and skip ahead.
Common line.
Get some different images. Damn,
Flight
I left the
Dynamics
fucking
officer
trail.
analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds. Time of 460 miles downrange.
Integrity, expect nominal shutdown.
Rolling down as we approach the abort once around option.
That's on the side of the rocket right there.
Milestone at the 7 minute 30 second mark.
But it's going in and
Now
out.
84 miles in altitude, 650 miles downrange, traveling.
All right, so you guys know that happened, and we're going to be following when it comes back and all that stuff. All right, we got to move on. We got other things to pressing issues. Trump addressed the nation. He addressed the nation last night, and Iran war objectives, quote, nearing completion, and I still think that is bullshit.
Stop the cap.
But that's all right. We're going to go ahead and present it and see what we're looking at here. And you know what we haven't done as well, and I know it's early to do it, but we're going to get the money part early this morning. Let's do that.
Just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Well, that was true, by the way.
Denied.
All right, here we go.
Let's take us out to this live here on Live Now from Fox as President Trump there addressing the nation on this conflict.
My fellow Americans, good evening. Let me
Fix the fucking audio, please.
begin by congratulating the
We've got so much money in media. I mean, everything's funded. What the fuck? How do we have still messed up microphones and audio engineers?
team at NASA and our brave astronauts on the successful launch
There
of
we go.
Artemis II. It was quite something. It will be traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially
Yes, that's very true, Steve Easy. NASA definitely owns space. That's
pass
true.
the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing. They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those 4 unbelievable astronauts. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury.
Hey, I appreciate that, Pops. Very much appreciate that. Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
The world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have
Yeah, that's right, Ghost. Great to see you in the
ever
chat,
seen
bro.
before. Tonight, Iran's navy is gone. Their air force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them, terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons factories and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing this current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world. And now we're working along with Venezuela and are, in a true sense, joint venture partners. We're getting along incredibly well in the production and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on Earth after the United States of America. We're now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies. Tonight, I want to provide an update on...
Yeah, our allies being Israel. And it's funny because, I mean, theoretically, we're supposed to be like a support arm for this whole thing, but yet we're the ones leading it. You know, boots on the ground operations and shit like that. I've said on my show many times. I mean, if they want boots on the ground, why the IDF can do it? You know what I mean?
Tremendous progress. Our work.
That's just how I look at it. Now, of course, is that going to happen? No. The IDF doesn't go on the ground over there. Nah, it's not going to happen. Not with us being involved. It's just, man, they do this shit from the sky.
Have made in Iran, and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the security of the free world. From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. Their proxies were...
Yeah, Charles, no kidding, by the way. And yes, there are some crazy political plays happening right now with Venezuela. We're actually going to be talking about that here in a minute, how U.S. lifted sanctions on Venezuela's Delcy Rodriguez, which is the acting president right now over there in Venezuela. But anyways, that's later.
Behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran, 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen, and neither should any of our past presidents. This situation has been going on for 47 years and should have been handled long before I arrived in office. I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for nuclear weapons by Iran first, and perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem Soleimani in my first term. He was an evil genius, brilliant person, a horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb, and he lived just horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps in far better, stronger position. Had he lived, we would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? We'd still be winning and winning big.
Yeah, Pops, we all love her, man. And definitely let her know that we all love and miss her too. You know what I mean? We can't wait to eventually hear from her, hopefully. But yeah, man, thank you for relaying the information.
And then very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, a disaster. Obama gave them $1.7 billion in cash. Green cash. Took it out of banks from Virginia, D.C., and Maryland, all the cash they had.
My brother Wicked Wally, shout out to my man. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat. By the way, we've got over 240 people in here between both the live streams. Make sure you guys double tap that screen. Whoops, wrong
Stop the cap.
Make sure you guys hit that like button, man, and double tap the screen if you guys are on the vertical side. Very much appreciated.
Flew it by airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran, and they would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world. There would have been no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of great experts, had I not terminated that terrible deal. And I was so honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement. For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed.
We already know about all that shit. Why are we discussing it? I mean, the 12-day war is actually pretty irrelevant right now. I mean, yes, it's in a timeline, yes, but let's focus on what's happening right now.
Magnificently. We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought.
We didn't totally obliterate it. I'm sorry. That's cap. If we totally obliterated it, we wouldn't be asking them to not make and produce any more enriched uranium, because they still have the capability to do it. And they still have enriched uranium as well. They've got an underground city. They hide shit well. Yeah, it's pretty easy to hide your own shit in your own house, right? But then you have other people coming in trying to find the shit. It's going to be a little bit harder.
To rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles, and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible, and they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out. We took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And they raced for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, but in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes. As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed. Their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice this past month, I've traveled to
Good morning, Tiffany. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Happy Thirsty Thursday.
Over Air Force Base, and it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil, and I was with them and their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission for which they gave their lives, and every single one of the people, their loved ones said, please, sir, please finish the job, every one of them. And we are going to finish the job, and we're going to finish it very fast. We're getting very close. I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form. Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home.
We've got over 300 people in here, you guys. I know not everyone's going to like what's being said here right now, but listen, you guys don't have to like the video for me or for what's going around the world, but you guys can like it for me. Listen, I know there's a lot of craziness going on, and But listen, thank you guys for your support here on this channel so that we can present to you guys what's factually happening around us. I appreciate that.
The short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict. This is yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They will use them, and they will use them quickly. It would lead to decades of extortion, economic pain, and instability worse than we can ever imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the
You can't say no inflation. I mean, you can say lowered inflation, but you can't say no inflation. Come on, man.
United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered. It's known as the nuclear Iran, and they didn't know what was coming. They've never imagined it. Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet, without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that. There's no country like us anywhere in the world, and we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait.
That's correct. We take about 1% of oil that comes out of the Strait, which is, you know, the 20% that they talk about all the oil that goes in and out of there. Yes, we get 1% of their oil, but it's irrelevant. So because it's irrelevant, because we're not selling our shit. If we sold our shit and we started exporting for real, we have, I mean, we are like a humongous stockpile of this shit. Why aren't we using this to our advantage?
And won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten...
Be safe out there, Frank. Always appreciate you, my man.
...and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil.
Yeah, you know what's great about it, David, is I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do. So, listen, if I want to stop on my own fucking show and I want to say what the fuck I want to say, I'm going to do exactly that fucking thing. All right, dude? Get over it. Go and create your own fucking podcast. Go create your own show. Go watch the mainstream media like a good boy. All right, see you later.
They so desperately depend on.
Idiot.
So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. #1, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And #2, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the Strait and just take it. Protect it. Use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over, the Strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try and rebuild. It will resume the flowing, and the gas prices will rapidly come back down. Stock prices will rapidly go back up.
What's up, Miss Lotus? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Happy Thirsty Thursday. By the way, let's get the likes up, everybody. We've got well over 400 people in here. Let's go ahead and get the likes up. Appreciate it.
They haven't come down very much, frankly. They came down a little bit, but they've had some very good days over the last couple of days. We've done actually much better than I thought, but we had to take that little journey to Iran to get rid of this horrible threat. With our historic tax cuts, where people are just now talking about receiving larger refunds than they ever thought possible. They are getting so much more money than they thought. That's from the great big beautiful bill. Our economy is strong and improving by the day, and it will soon be roaring back like never before. It will top the levels that it was a month ago. I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and
I got you, Steve, bro.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation, so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days.
Good morning, Stephanie. I see you in the chat. Appreciate you, by the way. Yes, let's get the likes up. This is almost done. The speech is almost done. It's only got like a minute left.
And the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer. This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing. They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing. The brilliance of the United States military. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we are finally free from the wickedness of Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America and the world. And I'll tell you, the world is watching. And when we do, when it's all over, the United States will be safer, stronger, more prosperous, and greater than it has ever been before. May God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, and good night.
All right, that is the end of that. So let's go ahead and move on into the next ordeal here. So we just heard all of that. We're going to move on into something that is going on this morning. And this morning came out something very interesting about yesterday, okay? So just so everyone knows when things actually happen and when they get to the media, how long it takes sometimes. So anyways, this just came out right before we started this show. U.S. lifts sanctions on Venezuela's Delcy Rodriguez. The United States on Wednesday lifted sanctions on Venezuela's acting president Delcy Rodriguez, according to the Office of Foreign Assets Control entry on the Treasury Department website. The newly announced sanctions relief is the latest U.S. recognition of Rodriguez as a legitimate authority in Venezuela ever since the U.S. military captured her predecessor, Nicolas Maduro. All right, and that happened on January 3rd. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll quickly discuss this. Let's go ahead and do it.
But in the meantime, I do want to pivot to some more headlines, international ones at that we are still covering for you here at Live Now from Fox. And some developing news in regards to the U.S. and Venezuela and some of the relations there. Bringing up here some images of the acting president, Delcy Rodriguez. So the Associated Press saying this, the U.S. just yesterday lifted sanctions on Venezuela's acting president, according to an Office of Foreign Assets Control entry on the Treasury Department website. The newly announced sanctions relief is the latest U.S. recognition of Rodriguez as a legitimate authority in Venezuela ever since the U.S. military captured her predecessor, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife on January 3rd in Venezuela's capital of Caracas. The pair have been taken to New York to face drug trafficking.
What's up, chatting with Stacks? My man, good morning.
Trafficking charges, and both have pled not guilty. But I want to stay with these developments. Joining us next into the conversation is going to be William Leogrand. He is a specialist in Latin American politics and U.S. foreign policy toward Latin America with American University. William, good morning. Good to have you on today.
Thanks for having me.
So this is a major development when it comes to the U.S. and Venezuela, what those operations are looking like at this moment. But can you explain to us a little bit what the primary objective was for the U.S. to lift these sanctions against the acting president?
Well, as a sanctioned person, U.S. businesses were not able to engage in any kind of transactions with President Rodriguez. And she's proven to be a very cooperative partner with the United States ever since she became president. And I think this is an effort on the administration to be able to smooth the revival of the Venezuelan economy and enable U.S. businesses to get in there and begin to rebuild the oil sector and restart the Venezuelan economy, which is what the administration has said is our priority right now.
Something else that was interesting, given the introduction I just made, was that the Associated Press said that this relief is the latest U.S. recognition of Rodriguez as the legitimate authority there in Venezuela. William, how does that impact efforts we've seen from the opposition party, particularly Maria Corina Machado, who has been in the U.S. and is also working closely with members of the U.S. government?
Well, it leaves the opposition out in the cold, frankly. I think the general agreement that...
Damn, dude, you listen, you're over there at from the American University. You don't have no fucking Wi-Fi?
Opposition won the 2024 election and pretty overwhelmingly. But I think the United States objective right now, the president's objective, is to stabilize the country. And it would have been problematic to try to bring Maria Corina Machado back in or the opposition back in and put them in charge, because there are multiple armed groups in Venezuela, all of whom would see their interests threatened by the opposition taking power right away. And it would have been very hard to maintain stability on the island, or in Venezuela, excuse me.
Yeah, no worries. We are going to get into a couple of questions on Cuba, because originally that's what we were going to talk about, breaking down the political situation and really the humanitarian issue in Cuba. But just one more kind of note here when it comes to Venezuela. How are other international actors also responding to this, and how the U.S. is conducting or trying to conduct negotiations with the Latin American country? Have we heard from places like Russia, for example?
No, there hasn't been much response. Initially, of course, Russia, China, Cuba all condemned the capture of President Maduro. But since that time, I think they're interested in trying to maintain their own interests on the island, which are primarily commercial. The United States did agree to allow China to continue to do business with Venezuela. So I think that was an important development in terms of trying to stabilize the international context around the government change there.
So this is a developing and breaking news story. Still a lot of questions that are left to be answered.
And we don't need to get into questions. At least you guys know it's happening. We're going to move on, though. All right. So let's go ahead and get into something that we haven't heard of yet. We're going to go ahead and discuss that and talk about it now. It just came out right before we hit go live this morning. Iran launches strikes at Israel and Gulf Arab nations as well. Iran fired more missiles at Israel and Gulf Arab states Thursday, demonstrating Tehran's continued ability to strike its neighbors, even as U.S. President Donald Trump claimed the threat from the country was nearly eliminated. Well,
stop the cap.
There we go. Let's go ahead and bring this up. And also, let's do better propaganda for you guys.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. True, though. Very true. All right, let's get into this.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. We are approaching the top of the hour.
Oh, shit. Speaking of money, my man, Virginia Chaos in the building, coming in on the Cash App, sending 420, saying, my man Mike Ball telling it like it is. Man, I very much appreciate it. I very much appreciate it, my man. Thank you very much.
Take a live look over
the
Tel
420
Aviv in Israel. I want to get to the latest here on Operation Epic Fury. Of course, Israel's Operation Roaring Lion, as both are underway. And at this point, it looks like it could be another 2, maybe 3 weeks, according to President Trump, until that operation is fully complete. Going to take this full to give you a look at the city of Tel Aviv here, as Iran today launching additional
we're definitely going to play that here in a minute. That's for sure.
Strikes on Israel, as well as the United Arab Emirates and other Gulf nations, as Operation Epic Fury is now officially in its second month. Iran also continuing with the chokehold there, so to speak, on the Strait of Hormuz, with British officials planning a call with about 30 other countries about how to reopen the strait. President Trump insists the strait can be taken by force.
Nick, let me ask you a question. Nikki, or whatever your name is. What does it have to do with Fox on any of this? I'm not showing opinions. I'm showing exactly what is happening. I'm reporting exactly what's happening. What does that have to do? This is a whole different thing. This is live now. And so what I'm showing you is actively what is actually happening. I'm showing you the shit that people go and have opinions about later. Are you this fucking like dense? Really?
But explain that
wow.
other countries
Incredible.
must, quote, build some delayed courage and, quote, go take it. Trump maintains Iran's military has been, quote unquote, decimated. A spokesperson for Iran's military, though, claiming his country has hidden stockpiles of arms, munitions, and production facilities. Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Zolagari said, quote, the centers you think you have targeted are insignificant, and our strategic military productions take place in locations of which you have no knowledge and will never reach. Just before President Trump began his address to the nation last night, explosions were heard in Dubai as air defenses worked to intercept an Iranian missile barrage. After the president was done, Israel said its military was also working to intercept incoming missiles as sirens sounded in Bahrain, home to the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet. I want to pop this up on your screen, coming in from the Department of War Rapid Response Team. This is part of that address to the nation last night from President Trump. It says, quote, in these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, we already showed Trump making this speech addressing the nation last night, and this is just them, the Department of War, reposting basically what President Trump said.
Also mentioned here that we did have some new video coming in from CENTCOM. Want to pop this up on your screen as well. This is from really just about an hour ago as they released that, along with little information here. Now, U.S. Central Command has been releasing these videos quite a bit over the past several days and really several weeks. And alongside the footage, a quote from CENTCOM commander here. That is, of course, Admiral Brad Cooper, popping this up to give you a look at that quote. As it says, now in our 5th week of the campaign, it is my operational assessment that we are making undeniable progress. We don't see their Navy sailing, we don't see their aircraft flying, and their air and missile defense systems have largely been destroyed. Again, that is a quote here from Admiral Brad Cooper, the CENTCOM commander. I mentioned President Trump's address to the nation last night, about 20 minutes in length, but want to play a portion.
You are obviously a retard. I'm just going to leave it at that. Just go ahead and say what you want to say. We're going to play with our food before we toss you.
Where he talks just a little bit about where things stand at this point. This was essentially the start of that speech.
As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive.
And we've already played this. We don't need to hear any more of it. We can skip that.
Those operations there as they played out just hours ago. Now, it's also important to note, as I mentioned here, that President.
No, dude. Oh my fucking God. I was talking about on the mainstream, quote unquote. I can't even. I'm not gonna go ahead and talk to you anymore. I'm just going to, if you want to talk to me, send me money.
President Trump said that essentially Iran's military, its stockpiles there, had been, quote unquote, decimated, quote unquote, obliterated. However, we are also hearing some new information that is coming in out of Tehran. Take a look here at some of the video of that area as a spokesperson for Iran's military claims His country has hidden stockpiles of arms, munitions, and production facilities. Again, that is a quote from Lieutenant Colonel Abraham Zolagari, who said, quote, "The centers you think you have targeted are insignificant, and our strategic military productions take place in locations of which you have no knowledge and will never reach." Again, there is so much to this, so I do want to bring in a friend of the show here. We have Mark Chandler, who is the Director of Government Relations at Coastal Carolina University and Professor of Practice, also a former senior defense intelligence official. Mark, as always, we definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us and helping to break down all of the latest developments here.
Well, good morning, Josh, and thanks for having me today.
Of course. And first off, I want to talk to you just a little bit about what we heard from that Iranian military spokesperson saying that they have underground hidden ammo, munitions, arms, production facilities, all of that hidden underground.
That's nothing new.
Surprise, and do you really put any, I guess, thought into what Iran and their leadership even has to say?
Well, you know, on something like this, you've got to look at how Iran is going to focus on the bluster and really try to stand up and not show any weakness in the face of the military pounding that they're taking at this time. But I do want to put some stock in what he says in regards to their underground storage facilities. You know, that's one of the hardest parts. They do have an extensive
We already know this.
underground storage and production capability.
Yeah, they've got an underground city, homie. We already know this shit. Anyways, listen, man. Listen, come on.
And so we know that. Obviously, our intelligence has been working on trying to find every
Yo, Jimmy Mac coming in with the $5. I very much appreciate the 5 spot, by the way. He says, I don't want to talk to you, Mike. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I don't want to talk to you either. Just kidding. All right, back to this. Appreciate that, Jimmy Mac. Thank you.
You showed some CENTCOM video a few minutes ago that showed going after these attacks, going after these facilities. And so, yes, they have them. Have we taken out every single one of them? I would say that's difficult to judge at this point. So I think
it's going to be near impossible, man.
With a lot of bluster, but there's a basis of truth in what he's saying because they do have extensive underground production and storage facilities. That's where they're going to keep getting some of these missiles and some of these drones from as we go in there and methodically start to take them out. And so when we look at the next few weeks that President Trump was talking about last night and that he's talked about before, is intelligence is going to work heavy to identify all.
Yo, Lou, appreciate the jewels over there on the vertical side. I very much appreciate that.
Facilities and start to eliminate them, or at least eliminate the Iranian access to them.
Talking a little bit about President Trump's address to the nation last night, it was about 20 minutes in length. He talked about
18 minutes.
The goals of the war, what has happened so far, what happens next, saying essentially that 2 to 3 weeks more until Iran, their regime, is essentially wiped out, gone there. So what I wanted to ask you is what stood out to you about the remarks from President Trump? Is there anything that you were maybe hoping to hear that you didn't? What stood out to you overall?
Well, if I can kind of start at what I was hoping not to hear, and that is I was hoping we wouldn't hear a deadline. And the reason when I say deadline, I'm talking about.
Well, it's when you say something like 6 weeks, people are going to hold you to that. It's an automatic. Now, if you go past that, now you got to justify why you're going past it. You know,
significant strikes over 2 to 3 weeks, at least publicly, because the military likes to work on objectives. Give me the objectives, and I will work to eliminate the objectives or create an opportunity, what we call an end state, for you to have an end state, a successful operation, or achieve your objectives out there. If we're publicly telling the adversary, and in this case, Iran, we're giving you 2 weeks and then we're going to fight you for that. And then we're going to ease up after that. All they know they've got to do is hold out for 2
weeks. Yeah, weather the storm,
weeks. Let's not be so public about a timeline. Let's let this play out. And it could have to play out, Josh, for another month or 2 months to achieve the military objectives we need to accomplish everything we're trying to do. So that's what I was kind of hoping I wouldn't hear is let's don't put a timeline on military operations. They're very fluid and dynamic. We're having phenomenal success.
And I'm probably pretty sure that the Pentagon advise Trump not to necessarily do that. And I'm sure that, well, I mean, listen, maybe they did. Maybe they're retarded too. I don't know.
But don't tell Iran how long it has to hold out. Now, as for some other aspects of it, I like how he laid out the objectives. We're going after the nuclear weapons program. We have set that nuclear weapons program back years, if not at least a decade. I mean, yes, we
maybe, homie. I mean, listen, we set them back maybe what, 8 months, maybe. I mean, come on, let's not be so dramatic about this. All right, let's go and see if we get anything else out of this. We already are talking about shit that we already know on this channel. We've discussed and shown breaking footage of all these things, whatever. Anyways,
get to the point to get to talk.
I'm skipping ahead to see if he gets on to another point. If not, it is what it is.
And remember, Iran, I don't want to underestimate our adversary. Iran has successfully strung along the United States and Western powers for 40-something years through negotiation.
If anybody's been manipulating anything, it's not really been Iran. Just saying,
So we have to recognize and give.
We're manipulated from another
and understand
thing.
who we're
ally.
negotiating with. And so when I do that, how do I open the straits? How do I get those other objectives that we're doing so well militarily, and then open the Straits of Hormuz because of the economic impact, but keep it open in perpetuity, not just for a short term where Iran can close it at any time it wants. That's the threat we're going to have to kind of keep to the future. We're weeks out, I believe, from having that set up.
And this is kind of jumping around because I know I've been jumping all over the place, but there are so many different topics and so many different developments. And you touched on this when we were talking about the Gulf Arab nations, but also want to discuss the fact that essentially you have reports of many of these different nations talking about the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, others as well that are privately, secretly there behind closed doors telling President Trump to actually continue the operation and weaken Iran even further, saying that the current Iranian regime and the IRGC have not been weakened enough just yet. Why is that happening behind closed doors potentially there rather than out loud in front of everyone?
Well, Josh, this goes to the Arab approach to how they have dealt with the Iranians for so long. There's not one Arab nation. Maybe Qatar has a better relationship with Iran, or had before it came under all of these attacks,
Qatar.
A better relationship with Iran than most of the other Arab states. But I used the word appeasement earlier. It's just, okay, we're going to accept that Iran, this regime that wants to control the entire Middle East, has been behaving in a manner that's conducive to our economic interest. And we know that they won't take the final steps that are going to damage us economically or close out our lifeline, which is the Strait of Hormuz. That Iran changed the entire dynamic on day 2 of this campaign with all of their attacks against the Middle East. But still, the Arabs don't want to go and confront you publicly. They will talk about this privately, even though they dislike Iran tremendously, have wanted to have them removed for years. They still don't want to go public with that. It's part of the Arab culture and how I deal with my adversary. They may fight them, but I'm not going to talk about them publicly. And there's also, I got to be honest with you, there's a little bit of hedging the bets that this regime survives. So they'll be able to back channel some communications.
Yeah, they're just holding out. I mean, all they got to do is weather the storm and drag it out. And they can't necessarily win on, like Iran can't win on a military aspect, okay? But they can absolutely make this very, very costly for the United States. And that's exactly what they're going to do. And anyways, listen, that wraps up we're caught up on the quote-unquote mainstream stuff. So anyways, listen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, I can't do this shit without you guys, and I know that sounds cliche as fuck, but it's absolutely true. I'm very appreciative of all your guys' support, your guys' engagement, hitting that like button, double tapping that screen on the vertical side. It all goes a long way, man. So listen, we're going to be raiding our buddy Chaotic Truth. He's live right now. Make sure you guys let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid, and we have a great time, man. So listen, we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Till then, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.